Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, which is Beya Daf Tes. We begin on the last line of Ches Amud Beis. Says the Gemara, Omar Rabba, Shachat Tzipor Me'erev Yom Tov. Suppose he shechted a bird before Yom Tov. A bird's dam needs to be covered. Now it's Yom Tov. He still has that dam uncovered. He failed to do Kisi Adam in time. Ein Machasen Oisabi Yom Tov. He can't go ahead and cover that dam with Afar on Yom Tov. Farshim point out that perhaps we're speaking, even if he has some ready-made Afar non-Muktzah sand, you can't do unnecessary Tirch on Yom Tov. Who asked you to wait till Yom Tov? You could have done it before. Let's go down to Rashi, 2 lines from the bottom. Right at the end of that second line from the bottom. Ein machas no sebi yom tov. The hayeloi lechasis, but you should have done it yesterday. Says Rashi, what about the fact you're not allowing him to partake in this bird? You're depriving him of simchas yom tov. What about that factor? No factor, says Rashi. Umishum emnu mishum simchas yom tov leka. That doesn't exist. You can still have the bird. The mishum teloi machas dam, just because he's not going to cover the dam. Doesn't mean you can't eat the bird. Go ahead and eat the bird, but you can't do kisi adam. Continues the Gemara on Tav Tes Amud Aleph. What about Gilgel Isa Erev Yom Tov? He formed a dough on Erev Yom Tov, and he didn't get around to separating the portion that goes to the kohen, the challah, and now it's Yom Tov. Mafresh mimeno chalasa b'Yom Tov. In this case, it's different. We allow him to separate the challah portion and give it to the kohen. Why? What's the difference? It says Rashi on top. Gilgil isam erev Yom Tov. Mafresh mimena chalasa b'Yom Tov. V'avakav d'tanan l'kaman. We all know. The Mishnah says, Elohen mishum shvus. We have the following things which can't be done with the Rabbanon, and one of them is Ein magbin trumas and masas b'Yom Tov. You can't separate truma and masar on Yom Tov. You're repairing, you're fixing, you're enhancing, you're enabling the product to be eaten. You can't do that on Yom Tov. Separating the challah portion of the dough, in the case of a dough which was prepared yesterday, is like separating truma maser on Shabbos and Yom Tov. Who asked you to wait till Yom Tov? You could have done it in advance. Even so, says the Gemara, no problem, no qualms. Separating challah from a dough is different than truma maser. Look, you can go ahead and prepare a batch of dough. You can bake on Yom Tov. To have fresh bread. So the fact that we allow you to bake on Yom Tov does not mean you can separate challah, and therefore there is no isser on hafrashas challah, even in this case where technically he didn't have to wait till Yom Tov. He could have separated the challah before Yom Tov. But there's no isser of hafrashas challah on Yom Tov. Tosfos brings the Yerushalmi, which says that we're only speaking when he didn't actually finish the lisha. He didn't actually finish preparing this dough before Yom Tov, so he started, but it spilled into Yom Tov. It sounds from the Yerushalmi that if he really would have finished it before Yom Tov, it would be asur. Perhaps the Bavli Alagmor disagrees. We don't find any distinction here, and the Rashi explains this svara because just as you can bake on Yom Tov and be mafresh challah on fresh bread, likewise, there's no isser hafresh challah on any dough. So that's the shita of who? Of Rabbah. Kisi Adam is Asr, but Hafrashas Challah is Mutter. Continues the Gemara in the second line. Avod is Shmuel Amar. Shmuel's father says, no, dough is no different than Kisi Adam. Who asked you to wait so long? Afilu Gilgil Isemer of Yom Tov. Even if he prepared this dough before Yom Tov and it spilled into Yom Tov, a mafresh mimena chalasa b'Yom Tov. You cannot separate challah on Yom Tov. True, bread which was baked today doesn't have that restriction. That's because it's fresh bread. But yesterday's bread, yesterday's dough, who asked you to wait so long? There was an isser of a fresh challah on that as well. So Rabbi maintains, a bird you can't address on Yom Tov, but dough you could. We don't differentiate between yesterday's and today's. According to Abu Shmuel, we do differentiate. Yesterday's bread is off limits. There's an isser of a fresh challah. Lema, perhaps we should say that pliga the Shmuel means Avur the Shmuel's son, is in disagreement with his father. They have a halachic machlekes. Lema pliga de Shmuel, adavu de Shmuel. Perhaps Shmuel is in disagreement with his father. It would appear from the next statement that Shmuel holds there's no problem with hafrashas chal on Yom Tov, even regarding yesterday's dough. The Amar Shmuel, chalas chutz la'aretz. If you have Rashi says a tart, a baked item, let's say loaf of bread, in chutz la'aretz. Now, as Rashi points out, mitzvah's challah is primarily in Eretz Yisrael. So min ha-Torah, it's only applicable in Eretz Yisrael. It's a mitzvah tluya ba'aretz. It's an earth, ground-related mitzvah. And therefore, in Eretz Yisrael, it's min ha-Torah. You have to be mafresh the challah before you start eating. Whereas in chutz la'aretz, it's only midrabanan. We have a kula. Chalos chutz la'aretz, oichel v'hoilach, v'achach mafresh. You can have your meal at the end, leave over some bread for the kohen. So the dough, the bread is not asur ba'achila. You can have it as long as you leave something over at the end. In fact, Tosfos brings of Kamina. This is in time for Pesach. He says, "Come Pesach, you realize, hey, I didn't separate I didn't do a fresh challah from my matzahs. It's now Yom Tov. What should I do?" He says, "No worries. Have your matzah, gesund tehet, and leave something over at the end, because in chutz la'aretz, it's mutar ba'achila as long as you leave something over at the end." In any case, says the Gemara, if that is so, what is so? That the item isn't really asur, even before hafrashas challah. So hafrashas challah is not really being matter anything. You're not really accomplishing anything. It's not a tikkun. Unlike separating grain from tevel, that is enabling the tevel achil. That's being matter. That's a masakin. That is asur midrabanan on Shabbos or Yom Tov. But in chutz la'aretz, where the hafrashas challah isn't really being matter anything, you don't have to do it now. You can wait till the end, leave something over at the end. So separating the challah isn't really considered a matter. It's not a masakin. It wouldn't be asur, and therefore, even if it's yesterday's dough, yesterday's batch, according to Shmuel, go ahead. Be mafresh chal. You're not really doing anything. As opposed to avoid the Shmuel's father, who clearly tells us that yesterday's dough should not be addressed on Yom Tov. Hafrashas challah is a concern. Amar Rava responds, not necessarily. Milay moide Shmuel, doesn't Shmuel agree? Shim kara aleha shem. Suppose he did choose to separate a piece of that dough in advance of eating it. He was kara shem. He designated it for challah. Shasur l'zarim. Of course. Don't you think it's asur to be eaten by a non-kohen? Surely. It's considered challah. In which case, the shem challah is chal, descends on this item. He's accomplished, he's creating something. And certainly the issa d'Rabbanan would apply even to hafrashas challah. And therefore says Rava, perhaps even Shmuel would agree that although you can mafresh challah from today's loaf of bread, just as you can make that dough and bake it, you can mafresh challah, but you can't extend it into yesterday's bread because hafrashas challah is a isur shvus like hafrashas trumas and masos. So in conclusion, when it comes to being machasa dam on yesterday's bird, you can't do it on Yom Tov. Regarding mafresh challah from yesterday's batch, we have machlekes. Rabbi says yes. Avud is Shmuel, and perhaps Shmuel himself as well say no. Continues the Mishnah. You can't go ahead and transport the ladder from one birdhouse to the other to go ahead and get some birds for shechita for Yom Tov. You can't do that. The Gemara will explain the reason for this. It appears like he's going to do a malacha to fix his roof. You can't walk around with that ladder. But if it's leaning against your birdhouse, you can go and tip it over, lean it to the side, move it from one window to the other. So the birdhouse is separated by compartments. Each compartment houses a different family of birds. So you have the ladder leaning against this bird nest. You can go tip it over to the next one, as long as you're not actually transporting the ladder. So the slight maneuver is okay, because it's not going to create any impression of malacha. Ubeisil matir, they say, sure, go ahead and take this ladder, this birdhouse ladder. And Rashi will tell us that you can tell it's a birdhouse ladder. It's a small size ladder intended for climbing up once in a while to the birdhouse. It's not this heavy duty commercial ladder, in which case everybody sees. It's just an access ladder to get up to the birds. No concern on Yom Tov. Let's go down to Rashi, around halfway down the Amud. So the Farshim take out the word kasal kadaitach, because in reality that's what we're speaking. Sulam hamiyuchad lekach. We're speaking about a ladder intended for this purpose. V'nikar shul shayvach. It's pretty clear. It's obvious. This is the birdhouse ladder. Still, say Beis Shammai, don't tinker with it. Don't transport it. V'tama the Beis Shammai farish Gemara. The Gemara will explain the reason for this. The Ashri, why they are oiser. V'afal bishu bo little gezolas v'simchas yontiv. Although, what's the purpose here? To get some birds for simchas yontiv. Still, you can't do it. That's as far as transporting it. But just tilting it, within the same birdhouse, just tilting it over from side to side, that's mutar. The shevach has many compartments. Kan l'chol zug. Every couple has its own compartment. Every compartment has its own window. So what's wrong with transporting the ladder, according to Beis Shammai? Says the Gemara, Omar Rav Chanan Barami, Machlokes b'shus Rab. This discussion, this halacha that Beis Shammai don't allow transporting the ladder, is dafka in the street. It might create an impression that he's going to do a malacha. The Beis Shammai is savri. Beis Shammai hold haroya. The observer will say, Omer latiach gago yitzarch. Why is he carrying around a ladder on Yom Tov? Oh, he's going to waterproof his roof. He's going to do a malacha. And you may do a malacha on Yom Tov. So in order to avoid that impression, leave your ladder at home. Ubi sil savri, they hold no problem here. Shevacha mechiachalav. The shevach is the biggest indicator, meaning we're speaking about a specially designed birdhouse ladder. Everybody sees it's a light duty ladder. It's just a thin, flimsy. Everybody sees this is the birdhouse ladder. And why would anybody think he's carrying it around for commercial purposes, for malacha purposes? So this is in the street. In the street where there are people around and might misinterpret what he's doing. That's when we have the machlokes. Beis Shammai say don't do it. Basil say you can do it. But if he's in private territory, his own property, where pretty much nobody walking around it, anybody who's there knows what he's trying to do. Divrei hakol mutar. Going to all shitas, it's mutar. There's no gzera of misunderstanding. So this is a chiddush of Rav Chanan bar Ami, that we differentiate between the street, where according to Beis Shammai it would be asur, marisa ayin, and create that false impression that he's going to do malacha, whereas in private territory, in Rishus HaYachid, we allow it. So we differentiate between public domain and private domain. That's a chiddush. Eini, is that so? Could you be machalik between Rishus Ram and Rishus HaYachid? And we don't say that there's a gzera in the street. We apply it wall to wall, across the board. No, we're machalik. We differentiate between the street and his private property. Eini, is that so? For Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Rav. Rav tells us there's going to be a kasha from Rav on this Amoira. Rashi says, although Rav himself was an Amoira, but he was Rabban Shel Kol Bnei HaGoyla. He was the Gadol Hador, except for Shmuel, and therefore the Gemara is justified in asking a kasha from Rav, who's an Amoira, on this statement of another Amoira, Rav Chanan bar Ami. So again, Rav Chanan bar Ami differentiated between the street and Rishus HaYachid. Outside it's asur, perhaps inside it's mutar. Rav says, Kol makam she'asur chachamim. Whenever we find chacham applied a gzera due to maras ha'ayin, concerned about creating impressions of isurim, doesn't only apply in the public domain, afilu b'chadri chador masur, even deep inside your own house, room within room, totally private, out of public view, it remains asur. Chachamim want to do things consistently, without any room for confusion. They made an isser in the street, it's usser in the house too. Perhaps somebody might notice. We don't want to get involved in taking a risk of you being noticed. So once Rav tells us that you can't be machalik between the street and Shus HaYachid, how could Rav Chanan bar Ami tell us otherwise? In the street it's usser according to Beis Shammai, at home it's mutter. Tanoi, actually it's machlekes Tanoim. The machlekes is whether we say a isser of maras ayin was applied all throughout the street and your private home, or we are machalik. We take the circumstance into consideration. In the street there's maras ayin, but not in Shus HaYachid. That's going to be the shita of Chanan bar Ami. So Rab maintains that whenever machalik, we don't differentiate between a street and your private territory, whereas Rav Chanan bar Ami held differently. And this is actually machlekes Tanoim. This fellow was walking along and he got drenched. He has wet clothing. He can go ahead and hang it out to dry under the sun. You can't do it in public. Do it in your private property. But outside, don't do it because people might think they did laundry on Shabbos. So according to Tanakama, we see a clear chiluk between the street and your home. Outside there are people, there's maras ayin, people might misconstrue, misinterpret, but if you make sure that you're out of public view, no problem. And that was Shita's Rav Chanan bar Ami earlier. The Sulam Shel Shoivach in the street might be a problem, but not Rosh Hashanah. Rabbi Lez and Rabbi Shimon Oyisrin, they hold no. Once the Chacham applied Gzera in the street, that Gzera spills over into Rosh Hashanah as well. We're not machalik. And that's going to be the Shita of Rabbi Yehuda Marav. Oh, so we found the machlekes Tanoim in this regard. Okay, so conclusion, according to this version of the Gemara, Rav Chanan bar Ami tells us, although we have machlekes in the Mishnah regarding transporting the Sulam Shel Shoivach around on Yom Tov, that only applies in the street. B'Shamai say there's a Gzera, people might notice it, going to do malacha. B'Sil say, don't worry, they'll see it's a Sulam Shel Shoivach, going to get some birds for your Suda. That's in the street, where people can see you. But in Rosh Hashanah, it's certainly mutter according to all shittas. Because the concept of maras ayin is strictly when there are people around. There's another version of this Gemara. Rav Chanan bar Ami. Rav Chanan bar Ami tells us, machlekes b'Shus HaYachid. When do we have this discussion in our Mishnah? When do Beis Shammai say that you can't transport the Sulam Shel Shoivach? And Beis Hillel say you can, because nobody watching. That's only in Rosh Hashanah. The Beis Shammai islu Rav Yehuda Marav. Beis Shammai hold like Rav. We're not machalik between private and public. Once there's a gzera out in Rosh Hashanah, we apply the gzera all throughout, even in Rosh Hashanah. So Beis Shammai is in line with Rav. Beis Hillel less lo Rav Yehuda Marav. Beis Hillel don't go with Rav. Although out in the street, people might see you, it's usher, but at home, do what you want. Right? So, Rosh Hashanah, Rav says, no problem, because nobody's watching. But out in the street, different akol usher, all agree it's usher, meaning everybody agrees there's a gzera. That somebody might notice, might conclude that you're going to fix your roof. That's in the street. What about Rosh Hashanah? So Beis Shammai hold like Rav. When it's usher outside, it's usher inside. No chiluk. Beis Hillel disagree. Perhaps it's usher outside. People are watching. But inside, it's not usher. Now we have a problem on our hands. Because usually we follow Beis Hillel. And Rav, who holds that we don't differentiate between Rosh Hashanah and Rosh Hashanah. Anytime there's a gzera of maras ayin, even b'chadr chadorim, it's usher. Whose shita is he following? Who is he going to be in line with? Beis Shammai. Beis Shammai are the ones that are telling us that just like it's usher in Rosh Hashanah, it's usher in Rosh Hashanah. But Beis Hillel hold it's usher in the street, but not inside. Lema Rav d'Amak Beis Shammai. Shall we suggest that Rav follows Beis Shammai? Deloy kihilchasa says Matanoihi. Actually, it's a machlekes Tanoi. Meaning, there's actually a third way, another way to learn the machlekes Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. We had a machlekes Tanaim a minute ago. regarding his wet clothing. When there's a gzera of maras ayin, is it applied strictly out in full public view, or does it spill over into Rishus HaYachid as well? Right? That was Machlokes Tanaim. Tanakama said it's only outside in the street, but not in his house. Rabbi Shimon said a gzera d'Rabbanan applies everywhere equally. So Rav is speaking now. He says, look, Tanoi, this concept, should we apply the gzera equally, or should we differentiate between Rishuyos, is Machlokes Tanaim, right? So when I said that gzera d'Rabbanan applies equally in all areas, I was following that shita of Rabbi Shimon, who likewise state that the Isser d'Rabbanan is always going to be all-encompassing. So according to that approach, evidently Beis Hillel are going to hold that if the latter is mutter to be transported, evidently it's mutter all over. You can't say it's only in Rishus HaYachid, not Rishus HaRabim. Whenever machalik when it comes to maras ayin. So according to that approach, evidently, Beis Shammai hold it's also all over. Beis Hillel hold it's mutter all over. The sun, as we heard, we had the Beitzah, shoytchen b'chama. He has his wet clothing. He can go ahead and spread it out under the sun to dry, as long as it's in his own private property. Not out in the street. So maras ayin only applies out in the street. That's the Tanakama. Rabbi Shimon Oisrim. According to these Tanaim, Rabbi Shimon, we don't differentiate between the street and the house, between Rishus HaRabim and Rishus HaYachid. According to them, apparently, in our Mishnah, Beis Shammai will hold you can't be moilech the sulam anywhere. Rishus HaYachid and Rishus HaRabim. And Beis Hillel hold you could everywhere. Not only in Rishus HaYachid, but even Rishus HaRabim, because, as we said earlier, Haraya, the person washing will simply conclude, Shavacha Mechir, this is meant for the birdhouse. You're not going to repair your roof. It's not a commercial ladder. Okay, so let's stop for a second. The truth is, we're still going to explore this sugi further, but in the meantime, what do we have? We have a machlekes between Rav Chanan bar Ami and Rav in how to interpret the machlekes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel in the Mishnah. So let's start with Rav Chanan bar Ami. He's following the shita of the Tanakama. We had a Beitzah. His fellow's clothing got wet. You have to be careful not to create the impression that you rinsed them on Yom Tov or Shabbos. So you can lay them out to dry, but according to Tanakama, make sure nobody's watching you. So in public you have to be careful, but not in private. Rav Chanan bar Ami follows that approach. We have mechalek between Rishus HaRabim, where people are watching, and Rishus HaYachid, where you're minding your own business. You're out of public view. Okay, so according to that approach, we actually had two versions in our Gemara. The first version was that both Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel agreed that Rishus HaYachid, you can carry around the ladder. Nobody's watching. In Rishus HaRabim, we have machlekes. Beis Shammai say, look, people might think you're carrying it to fix your roof. It's us. Beis Hillel say, everybody sees it's a birdhouse ladder. No concern. According to the second approach, which is more machmir, all agree out in the street it's us. Machlekes is in Rishus HaYachid. Beis Shammai will hold, well, whenever there's a gzera d'Rabbanan, we don't differentiate between Rishuyos. Whereas Beis Hillel will hold, we certainly do. In Rishus HaRabim, people might notice, but not Rishus HaYachid. And if anybody notices, it's your family, people around you, they'll see what you're doing. So this is Rav Chanan's approach. Rav, on the other hand, holds that la'alocha l'maaseh, we can't be machalek between Rishuyos. Whenever there's a gzera d'Rabbanan of maras ayin, afilu b'chadr chadarim also. And therefore, according to his approach, which is really Rabbi Shimon's approach in the Beitzah there with the wet clothing, we're not machalek between this location and that location. So according to this, the machlokes in the Mishnah is very simple. According to Beis Shammai, there's a gzera. People might see his fellow transporting his ladder. You're going to do a malach on Yom Tov. So it's aser, whether you're in the street or you're in Rishus HaYachid. That makes no difference. Whereas according to Beis Hillel, there is no gezerah because shevacha mecheichalav. It's clear you're going to grab some pigeons. In which case, it's mutter not only in the street, not only in your Rosh Hashanah, but even in the street. So according to Rav, we don't differentiate. It's all or nothing. According to Beis Shammai, it's aser all throughout. According to Beis Hillel, it's mutter all throughout. So three approaches to understand the machlokes in the Mishnah. Continues the Gemara. Mas Nisan, our Mishnah, which presents a machlokes regarding transporting a ladder to a birdhouse, Beis Shammai say good, Beis Hillel say no good. Beis Shammai say you're not allowed to, Beis Hillel say allowed to. The localfile Tana is inconsistent with the following Tana. The Sanya. Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, Moedim Beis Shammai Beis Hillel all agree Shamelichan is Asul Mishevach HaShavach. You could transport the ladder to the birdhouses. That's Tzarech Yom Tov. We're not going to prevent him from doing that because of this concern of the Gzera. People might know. We're not going to be Meinei Simchas Yom Tov. You know when the machlokes applies? Ela lahachzer. Can I bring it back home? Can I put it back in the basement? There's no reason to bring it back. On the way to, okay, there's a real need to go get some birds. But on the way back, why risk the chance of creating an impression of going to do malacha? Leave it there. You could even bring it back home. Perhaps the point is that if he won't be able to bring it back home, he knows he won't be able to retrieve his ladder, then he won't even go to begin with, and then he'll be meineaf and simchas yom tov. Let's go over to Rashi on top. Maslis and Niktani by Lach Asulam Pligi, our Mishnah, which presents the machlokes as pertaining to transporting the ladder to the birdhouse. Beis Shammai say Asr, Beis Hillel say Mutter. Lav ki Tana is not like the following Tana who allows transporting to the birdhouse according to all shittas. Niktani by Lach Moidu says Rashi why Mipnei Tzarech Yom Tov. So transporting to, delivering the ladder to the Shevach is Mutter according to all shittas. Machlokes applies to Chazara. Continues the Beitzah. 5 lines from the top of the Amud. Rabbi Yehuda. So Rabbi Yehuda adds, when do we have this whole discussion? Take the ladder, don't take the ladder. Besulam shal sheva. Oh, this is what Rashi alluded to in the Mishnah. We are speaking about a specially designed ladder, a birdhouse ladder. Avo besulam shal aliyah, but if it's a climbing ladder, used to climb up to the second floor, it's a heavy-duty ladder. Divrei HaKol Asur all agree, even Beis Hillel agree, you can't transport this heavy-duty ladder. People will think you're going to do malacha. You're doing some roofing work. Oh, so it's very important to remember this. The whole discussion, the whole sugya, is dafka by a small time ladder, where it's evident, where it seems clear that he's going to the birdhouse. But a sulam shalaliyah, this large-sized heavy-duty ladder, is certainly asur to transport on Yom Tov. Continues the Beitzah. Oh, here's a chumrah. Rabbi Beitzah holds even a sulam shal shoivach cannot be transported outright. So Rabbi Beitzah holds, Rabbi Beitzah holds there was never a machlokes between Shammai and Beis Hillel on this. He had a different version of events, and he was very machmir. He says even a sulam shal shoivach you can't transport. The only thing you can do is tilt it from one window, as we said in the Mishnah, one compartment to the other. That's it. There's another version in the name of Rabbi Beitzah. Suppose you have to actually bring it over to the other side of the birdhouse. You can baby step it over. You can sort of hop it over, not transport it outright. Just skip it over to the other side. That's it. More than that is also. Continues the Gemara with a story. Bnei Rabbi Chia's sons, nafukal kriyas. They went out to the farms to take a look at their real estate. Kias, when they came back home, father tells them, look, there must have been some hashkacha pratis reason why you ended up in those places. What happened? Anything interesting happened? Any shaila was presented to you? Klum masa boli yadechem. Was any halacha lamasa asked of you? Amar lo, said they responded, actually, yeah. We had the following shaila presented to us while we were making our rounds. Sulam boli yadeinu, vitarnu. Somebody asked us a question regarding transporting a sulam shel aliyah, this large-size, heavy-duty ladder, and we allowed it. Wow. Their father told them, that was a mistake. Quickly go back out to asru mashi tartem. Tell them that it's asr. retract your heter. No, you can't transport a sulam shel aliyah. The whole sugi is dafka by sulam shel shevach. Sulam shel aliyah is certain aser. So what are they thinking? Where are they coming from? In Usavar, now they figured, if you take a close look at the Beitzah that we just learned, Rabbi Yehuda was the one who says, well, the heter pertains only to a sulam shel shevach. But a sulam shel aliyah can't be moved on Yom Tov, according to all shittas. They figured that it's Rabbi Yehuda's personal opinion. Tanakama held that any ladder can be moved on Yom Tov. That's what they held. In Usavar, they figured Amar Rabbi Yehuda b'sulam shel aliyah lo plig. The fact that Rabbi Yehuda presents that a sulam shel aliyah is not a machlekes, it's only aser. Mechlal the Tanakama savar plig. Apparently, Tanakama held that it's the topic of discussion now of Mishnah, and basically matter transporting the large size heavy duty ladder. So they went along with Tanakama. L'shitas Beisil, and they allowed it. But it's incorrect. Rabbi Yehuda Tamid the Tanakama Kamafarish. Rabbi Yehuda wasn't voicing his own personal opinion. He was simply elaborating on the Tanakama. He was explaining that the whole discussion pertains only to Sulam Shel Shevach, where it's pretty obvious that he's intending to grab some birds and not to fix his roof. But a Sulam Shel Aliyah is certainly off limits on Yom Tov. So go back and correct what you said. What's the raya? How do we know Tanakama really is in line with Rabbi Yehuda and is only mated by Sulam Shel Shevach? Take a look at the Beitzah. What does the Beitzah say? You can transport the ladder from one birdhouse to the other. Apparently, the ladder is sitting there. It's sitting at the birdhouse. It's a specially designed birdhouse ladder. Now, if we would be speaking about a heavy-duty climbing ladder, instead of Tanakama saying you can transport the sulam from one birdhouse to the other, which sounds like it's there to begin with, it's just taken from one to the other. Instead of that, he should have said, if we're speaking about a heavy-duty ladder, he should have said, he should have said, you can transport the ladder, meaning any ladder, even a roofer's ladder, a commercial ladder, to the birdhouse. Apparently, what Tanakama means to say is, Shal Shevach in. A birdhouse ladder, you can move around. Shal Aliyah but not the heavy-duty ladder. So this was the Gemara, or Rabbi explaining himself. I'm proving to you that even Tanakama is only speaking about a small mini ladder. V'idach. Now, what were they thinking? It's a pretty solid diuk in the Lashon Tanakama. How did they come to make that mistake? Mig tani sulam shel shevach. Does the Beitzah, the Tanakama, then say you can transport the sulam shel shevach, meaning the sulam which belongs to the shevach? It's a birdhouse ladder. He doesn't say that. Mi shevach l'shevach tani. Tanakama says you can take the ladder from one birdhouse to the other. Perhaps he's speaking about a heavy-duty ladder, which he's bringing over from his basement to the shevach. And the point is, afilu l'kama shevachim. The chiddush is you can transport it around town from one birdhouse to the other. That's why the Tanakama uses that lashon. Shemalichin sasulam mi shevach l'shevach. But perhaps he's speaking about a heavy-duty ladder. You have no raya. So that's what they were coming from. But their father Rabbi corrected them. Quickly, go tell them not to do it any longer. There was another version of this exchange between Rabbi and his sons. They came back from the villages, and he asked them what happened, and they told him, actually, we had a shaila. The question posed to us was as follows. We have a sulam shel aliyah, this large, heavy-duty ladder. We know we can't transport it. But what about tilting it? It's sitting near the birdhouse. Can we go and tilt it over from one side to the other? We turned and we allowed it. Transporting is not allowed, but just tipping it over slightly is okay. Amalem, their father responds, go ahead and correct what you did, what you said. It's aser. Because a sulam shel aliyah is totally off limits. Not only can't you transport, you can't tilt it, you can't do anything. It might create the impression that he's doing a malacha. He's going to fix his roof. So where were they coming from? What was the basis of their mistake? In whose savar they figured, if you take a close look at the Beitzah, we have Rabbi Yehuda, right at the end of the Beitzah. Rabbi Yehuda, who says you can be mata the sulam from one chalon to the other. So they figured that Rabbi Yehuda was being mater, he's being makel. In Usavar Ma'idika Aser Tanakama, the large heavy-duty ladder, Sulam Shel Aliyah, which the Tanakama doesn't allow transporting, because Shari Rabbi Yehuda comes back and he says, you know what, you're right, transporting not, but just tilting it slightly is okay. He's coming to apply a heter. And based on that, they were mater as well. To be mater, Sulam Shel Aliyah, as long as he's not transporting it outright. V'loi says the word, it's incorrect. Rabbi Yehuda says actually come to him machmer on the Tanakama. My the Kashari Tanakama, the Sulam Shel Shoivach, the small mini ladder Tanakama allows you to transport. Rabbi Yehuda comes back and he says, you know what? I don't allow transporting any ladder, even a Sulam Shel Shoivach, even a birdhouse ladder. Tilting, tipping, that's okay. But to outright carry it, even a Sulam Shel Shoivach is asur. Okay, so now we have a full picture of the sugya. Let's just go back again and sum it up. Okay, so we discussed the Sulam Shel Shoivach, right? The Gemara concludes, the whole discussion only applies to this birdhouse ladder. Otherwise, if it's a commercial ladder, don't get near it. Now, according to our Mishnah's version, the discussion applies to Hoylacha. Can I transport the ladder to the birdhouse? That's the Machlokes B'Sham and Mesil, as we explained. Whereas in the Gemara we have a shita which says taking it to the birdhouse is mutar according to all shitas, Simchas Yom Tov. The Machlokes only applies to the return trip. So what is the Machlokes? So once again, let's just summarize. We had Rav Chanan bar Ami, we had Rav. Rav Chanan bar Ami was following the Tanakama in that Mishnah which discussed wet clothing, that the Gzera of Maras Ayin only applies in Shus Rab, not Shus Yachid, therefore according to his version of events. So according to the first Girsa, he held that in Shus Yachid all agree it's mutter, nobody watching you. In Shus Rab we have Bishami say Asr because it might appear like he's going to fix his roof. Basil say no concern, everybody sees it's a birdhouse ladder. According to the second version, he's more machmer. He says in the street everybody's going to be Oyser. In Shus Yachid, Bishami will maintain the Isser. They hold that the Isser Maras Ayin applies all throughout, but according to Basil, which is the Halacha L'Maisa, we are machal between the street where it's Asr and Shus Yachid, where the Isser Maras Ayin doesn't apply. So that's Rav Chanan's approach. Rav, who follows the other Tana, Rav Lezer Rav Shimon and that Beitzah with the wet clothing, who say, well, Isser Rabban of Maras Ayin applies all throughout. Shus Yachid and Shus Rab equally. So according to this approach, there's no difference between this Rishus and that Rishus. Bisham say the Gzera applies in both cases equally. Basil maintain that the Gzera does not apply either in Shus Yachid nor in Shus Rab. We had Rabbi Yehuda, who's more machmer than all of the above. He says even a Sulam Shel Shoivach cannot be transported outright. Only thing you can do is tilt it a bit, matin, or according to one version, medaden, hop it over to the other side of the Shoivach, and that's it. Continues the Gemara. Go back to the Mishnah, where Beis Shammai are machmer when it comes to Simchas Yom Tov. No. If there's any concern here, any D'Rabbanan, any Gzera, we stop you in your tracks. Basil say, no concern, you're going to get some birds for Simchas Yom Tov. Let's not be concerned about creating false impressions of Malach. Alma says the Gemara, apparently, when it comes to Simchas Yom Tov, we do away with these chashashes according to Beis Hillel, and not according to Beis Shammai. Simchas Yom Tov, Beis Shammai l'chumra, but Beis Hillel l'kula. Shammai say a rabbinic concern, Gzera D'Rabbanan stands in the way of Simchas Yom Tov. Beis Hillel are not concerned. V'ramini, listen to this stira, we have a contradiction from that Mishnah we learned. Shoich et chayvayv b'Yom Tov. He does shchita on an animal or bird, in which case he has to cover the dam. How does he go about it? Beis Shammai omer, no worries. Yach pur b'deke v'yichas, take a shovel, dig up some earth. We spoke about this sugi earlier. We're speaking about fluid sand, loose earth. So it's not really a issa deraisa, but there are some concerns here. It appears like he's digging, and it appears like he's doing chayrish. Perhaps it's a muksa concern. Shammai say, don't worry. Simchas Yom Tov overrides all these concerns. No. Lo yishchet, he shouldn't do shchita. Elam kein hayeloi afar muchen b'yadayim, unless he has some ready-made offer. You can't go dig up some offer on Yom Tov. So what do you see from here? When it comes to Simchas Yom Tov, who's machmer? Beis Hillel is machmer. Gzera D'Rabbanan stands in the way of Simchas Yom Tov. You can't go to shchita on your animal on Yom Tov because of the Issa D'Rabbanan. Whereas according to Beis Shammai, no problem. Go do shchita. We do away with Issa D'Rabbanan to enable Simchas Yom Tov. As a steer to our Mishnah, we see that the opinions were reversed. Bishamai say, don't carry that ladder. This is Rabban, the Gzera, the Maris Ayin gets in the way of Simchas Yontiv. We're still not concerned. Simchas Yontiv, it's more important. Okay, so before we get to the teretz, it's interesting. Tosfos asks a kasha. Why couldn't the Gemara go back to the first Mishnah in the Masechta? The first case in the Mishnah. Beitzah should know to be Yontiv. Bishamai say, it's mutter. Apparently, they're not concerned about Gzeras and Isurim because of Simchas Yontiv. And here we see they are machmer. It says Tosfos by the egg. The egg doesn't generate simcha, just an egg. So you can't attribute Beis Shammai's kula to Simchas Yontiv. It's not going to be Simchas Yontiv. Rather, Beis Shammai are matter by the egg because they're not concerned with hachana and all those reasons that we mentioned at the beginning of the Masechta. So that wouldn't be a raya that Beis Shammai do away with Issa D'Rabbanan because of Simchas Yontiv. Rather, we went to the Mishnah Masheichet Chayvayv Kisi Adam, which does entail Issa D'Rabbanan. Beis Shammai are not concerned, but yes, they are concerned. Rabbi Yochanan Mechlevas Ashita. Apparently, the opinions have to be reversed. Rashi learns that the Shitas in our Mishnah have to be switched around so that they're in line with the Mishnah of Kisi Adam. Beis Shammai are mekel, Beis Hillel are machmer. Says the Gemara Mimai. How do you know to ask this? Well, what compels you to reverse the shitas? What's your contradiction? What's bothering you? Dilma. Perhaps you can be machalik. You can unlink the two Mishnahs. Dilma ad kan like Amar Beis Shammai Hasan. Perhaps it's over there by Kisi Adam that Beis Shammai say, no worries. Do shchita and do Kisi Adam. You know why? Elahecha the ika deker no. It's because it's thinking that he had a shovel already inserted from before Yom Tov. In which case, the earth has been loosened and doesn't give the appearance of digging. There's no concern. Avalecha the leka deker no. But if you don't have that aspect, such as in our case, where he's transporting a ladder, where it might seem like he's going to fix his roof, perhaps over here, Beis Shammai will be machmer. Two different contexts. Vinami, alternatively, you can say, Ad kan like Amar Beis Hillel hacha. Perhaps over here, Beis Hillel say, no worries, carry the ladder. You have that element, you have that mitigating element. Everybody sees it's a birdhouse ladder. Not creating any impressions of malach. When it comes to Kisi Adam over there, it might appear like you're digging, and it could lead to impressions of malacha. Over there, it's different. So in any case, it's two different stories, two different halachas. How do you compare the one to the other? It's not really a kasha to begin with. Ela kasha, but says the one, if you want to present a stira, ha kasha, perhaps you can do it as follows. We have a Mishnah which says, B'Shamai Oimrim, Lo Yitel Elam Kain Niana Me'od Yom. It's the next Mishnah coming up. He has a birdhouse full of birds. Say Beis Shammai, we know you have to prepare the birds in advance so that it's not muktzah. How do you prepare? You can't just verbally designate. You have to actually pick up the bird, tap it, physically inspect it, make sure you really want it. Why? Because otherwise, it's just going to be visual inspection. Maybe tomorrow you take a look at it up close, you pick it up, and you'll say, that's not what I had in mind. It doesn't really live up to my standards. You'll put it back down, you take the next one. So you're going to be moving things around which are muksa, as we're going to see in the next Gemara. So Beis Shammai say the only way to properly do it is pick it up before Yom Tov to ensure this is really what you want. This way you don't have to go ahead and touch muksa unnecessarily. It's not necessary. You can stand in front of his birdhouse and say, look, that one there with the long tail, that's the one I want. You don't have to actually physically tap it. Apparently when it comes to matters of Simchas Yom Tov, Beis Shammai are machmer, Beis Hillel lekula. Beis Shammai are concerned with Isser Muktzah, Beis Hillel aren't concerned. Simchas Yom Tov is more important. V'ramini. What about the Mishnah we had? When it comes to Kisi Adam, Beis Shammai are mekel for Simchas Yom Tov. Beis Hillel are machmer. We have a contradiction. Rabbi Yehuda Kessler. Apparently these sheets have to be reversed to put them in line with each other. Once again, says the Gemara, why are you comparing two things that perhaps can be unrelated? But perhaps the two things are not to be connected. Perhaps it's only by Kisi Adam Beis Shammai allow, because he has that spade in the ground, in which case it doesn't appear like he's doing a malacha. The earth has been loosened. But if he doesn't have that element, such as in the case of the birds, we're concerned that Next day he might actually pick up that bird that he thought was good, decide it's not for him, put it back down, in which case the designation has expired retroactively, and he really touched the muktzah. So in that case, we have no reason to be mekel. Therefore, b'shama is machmer, as opposed to kisi adam, you have the deker noritz element, which removes any concerns. Inami, alternatively, you can say, ad kan like amar b'silacha. It's only over here by the birds that b'sil say, be careful to avoid muktzah. Elo kiva the muktzah. B'sil say, no, don't worry about muktzah. Elo kiva the muktzah. Since we're dealing with only an Issa Muktzah, it's only a Sidra Rabbanon, so then, yeah, Ba'imid Va'imir, Zeh V'zeh Ani Noitel Sagi, to get up and say, I'm taking this one, that one, verbal designation is enough. Aval Hossam Loi, when it comes to Kisi Adam, where digging might lead to Issa Deraisa, digging, crushing the earth, it can lead to Issa Deraisa, perhaps that's Mochim. In any case, the two things perhaps unrelated to each other. Why are you asking from one to the other? And the more proceed and continue to have more rayas and more kashas to be continued Be'ez Hashem tomorrow. Okay, so what do we learn today? Rabbi tells us you have a bird, shechtam Erev Yontiv. You didn't get a chance to cover the dam. Don't do kisi adam on Yontiv. Don't allow unnecessary tirch when it comes to a dough, which was prepared yesterday. But the challah was not yet separated. We had a machlokes in the Gemara according to one pshat, no problem. Just as you can bake today and be my first challah. Apparently, there's no issa derabbanan when it comes to first challah and yomtiv. Likewise, yesterday's dough as well. Avod Shmuel disagreed. Today's dough is okay, but not yesterday's dough. We discussed transporting a ladder over to the birdhouse to retrieve some birds. Okay, so the Gemara says we're speaking about a specially designed sulam shel shevach. According to some, machlokes applies regarding delivering the ladder to the shevach. According to others, delivering to is certainly mutter, sirvachas yontiv. The question is regarding bringing it back home. According to Rav Chanan bar Ami, we have two versions. According to version 1, Shizayach is certainly mutter. Shizram Beisham are the ones that say asa because of Maras Ayin. Might appear like he's going to fix up his roof. According to version 2, Shizram all agree it's aser. And Shizayach and Machlekes, Beisham say aser. Basil say private territory, nobody's around, it's mutter. According to Rav, whatever machalak between Rishuyos, it is Maras Ayin, it applies uniformly throughout all territories. So according to Beisham, it is an Isser in both places. According to Beis, it's mutter, whether Shesa Yachid or even Shesa Ram. According to Rabbi Beitzah, even a Som Shel Shevach cannot be transported, merely tipped or hopped over. We had a story regarding Bnei Rabbi Chia, who issued a psak, halacha, that came back to the father and he corrected them, and concluded with the machlekes regarding a case where an Issa D'Rabbanan stands in the way of Simchas Yontiv, Rabbi Shammai B'Yasilel. We try to line up the shitas, one with the other. Rabbi Yechon says Machlafas Ashita, to be continued tomorrow. Kol to and much hatzlach.